live. Yes, we are. Excellent. This is working. Jason, everything is working again.
I know, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Freaking miracle. We were in AWS purgatory, but we're back. Welcome to CRL Trump Request Live. Spencer Israel, Jason Purrs here from All-Star Charts Gold Rush. And we have a few requests that people were kind enough to send our way. We appreciate that. We will get to those in a moment. Before we do, as always, if you have a request for this show, you can drop them in the chat right now, or you can email us questions at stockmarketmedia.com. Shall we dance? Should we do this?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's start with a request from the inbox. It was Instacart. Who was this request from? It was last week. It was from Danny. Specifically, he was asking about Instacart for a 3-month time horizon.
Instacart 3-month time horizon.
3 months.
I mean, if you're range trading, like, I guess it makes a lot of sense here. You could kind of say, okay, we have the support zone down here. It's kind of bouncing off that support zone. You could say, okay, around 37, 38, we're getting a nice bounce. You could try to trade it back to the top of the range, but that's going to be your 3-month trade. Really long term, if you're looking at this thing for a long-term perspective, I know you're not, but just thinking about it for 5 seconds, we're looking at more of a big resistance zone up here. We're looking at basically $48 to $50. A lot of resistance up there. Once we get above that, it's kind of clear skies ahead. But for now, I'd say you could probably trade it from the bottom for the next 3 months to the top side of this range. This range hitting about $50, so targeting $50. Nice move. I mean, it's a quick move, but you know, you're making a quick, let's see here, a quick 33%. It's not bad. Not bad at all. So I think you could take a nice trade here. I think it's a interesting stock. Spencer and I were just talking about it offline a little bit. It's it's everybody's favorite delivery app, including one I use as well. So I like it. I think it's a good trade for a range trade.
Yeah, time horizon here is relatively short. You got to think like, geez, if your stock hasn't gone this year, then like, what kind of a stock is it really? Right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it can't go up in this environment, then I do. But this is a short trade, so this is not. He's not saying, you know, should I buy this stock forever? He's saying, should I buy this for 3 months? So
yeah, 3 months, top side of the range looks great. But if it's struggling, I agree with Spencer. This is a lot of struggle for. I mean, if you looked at it relative to the S&P 500, this is a lot of struggle for that. This should be moving up quite a bit. This should look really good all the way to the top of the range already, ready to break out. And if it's not, I'd say I'd stay away from it. But if you're really bullish on it, you could trade it to the top side of the range.
Yep. Okay. Jonathan emailed us about AXS. This is Axis Holdings. And he wants specifically to look at the long-term outlook. He wants a weekly chart.
Okay. So is this it?
That is a weekly. Look at that.
All right. So looking at the weekly chart, ASX. Wow, this thing actually looks really good. That's a great breakout there. So we're looking at a nice breakout zone. So it's already breaking out, already moving. I would just hang on to this thing. I wouldn't do anything. How old is this chart? So it does go back a bit. And these moves look really explosive out of each breakout. So we basically hit a new high. We get a nice move, new high, get a nice move again. Now we're hitting another new high. This could continue for a while. Let's look at candles to just see where that actually stopped last time. So where it looks like, if you're looking at candlesticks, it's looking like we're just breaking out right now. So the trade looks like it's one to take immediately, really. Anything over 1290, 1298, I'd say just hold this thing, let it run. Who knows where this thing ends up? I like to use closing prices, so I'd be all the way down here. I would have bought this thing all the way back here. Jonathan, yeah, I know you're a trader. Jonathan trades coffee futures and just about everything, if I'm thinking about the right Jonathan. But if we're looking at that, you could already be in this already down here at 1150. Big target up there too. I mean, this is each of these moves looks big base kind of breakout here. I'd say you're probably targeting around 15 to 20. So this thing could move, first target being around $15, next target being about $20. I like it a lot. Especially like things like this. I really always pay attention to. Huge wick on a monthly. That's the reversal. Usually when you see that, you can start to either enter a trade right here, let this thing move up, or be smart, wait for the big breakout, which Jonathan's talking about here. So the big breakout's happening. I just own this thing. Looks great.
This is a semi, right? So not really surprising to see,
not surprising.
Yeah, not surprising. But the trade is now. You heard him. You heard him.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the whole semiconductor space, man, that's to me is something that I want to continue to pay attention to. I think everybody should. I think it's one of the best indicators to see general market direction. And as we're seeing the semiconductors continue to move in such a big way, I mean, we're looking at monthly candlesticks right now, but we've been up. I'm assuming this is Liberation Day. Yes, so that's around Liberation Day, liberating everybody from their stocks.
Nice. Liberating us all and then making money.
And then giving us all back a bunch of money. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 6 up months at the moment. I like it. And I think it's telling us that there's more upside in the market, even though everybody keeps continuing to say that the market's dead here. We keep seeing bearish news articles. We're seeing bearish covers. Everybody's bearish right now. Well, the market's just ripping in everybody's face.
I mean,
to me, I think it's time to stay long.
Don't you know?
Oh yeah, I keep hearing that, Spencer. I keep hearing we're in a bubble. My bad. I don't know why I keep ignoring the Economist.
I don't know. Okay, let's keep going here, and then we'll get to the chat. A few more from the inbox. Hanson emailed us about CENX, also asking about a 3-month time frame. This is Century Aluminum. I'm sure you're familiar.
Yes. So sorry about that. But yes, definitely buy that thing. But yes, we actually used this in our article recently. I think that was funny. 3 weeks ago. So we saw that big breakout happen. We started to buy it already. So it was in one of our commodity reports that comes out on the end of the week every Friday for Gold Rush. Members get a trade idea with that. The trade idea that week was CENX. And it's basically a big trade of we're moving from gold miners, silver miners, platinum and palladium miners, basically SBSW, all the way to copper miners. Now we're starting to move into steel stocks. We've almost said steel miners. You can't mine steel. And now we're moving into even aluminum names. So this is the first aluminum name that came on our radar. This is a massive base breakout. What's the time frame he said?
3 months.
3 months. So on a 3-month time frame, like I'm targeting these old highs up here. And that's kind of a big move that could happen. So on a 3-month time frame, with the way this sector, all of these sectors are moving at the moment, I would think that we could probably hit 80 here, which is a big move in 3 months. But at the same time, I do think that can happen. I think there's a lot of FOMO in the space. I think there's a lot of momentum coming into the space. I think there's a lot of money, investment. As we're continue to see the government go into these different rare earth companies or natural resource companies in the United States, we're going to continue to see this move continue, whether it's FOMO, whether it's momentum, whatever it is. I think it'll continue. So I definitely like this trade over the next 3 months. 3 months, it might be hard to hit that target, but I think we probably could. I think at the very least, around $52 would be the next target to hit.
Oh, wow. Okay. And we're at what today?
We are at 33.
Nice move.
Yep. I think it's going to happen. I think it can happen.
Cade emailed us. I don't know if this was a question so much as a statement, but he wanted us to know that Real, REAL, has a 27% short interest. So it's looking a little squeezy. I haven't been able to confirm that myself, that 27% number, but it sounds like it could be right for a stock of this ilk, right? So,
yes.
Thoughts on this one?
Wow. Well, look at that. I mean, it's if you're bullish on this and it has the short squeeze capability at the moment, I think it's definitely one where this thing could probably take off really nicely here. I think this thing could take off and probably give you a double here. I mean, especially if the short interest is exactly what you say. How many days to cover? That's another thing. So maybe somebody could drop that in the chat. But, today, 15%, we continue to see that type of move. You're going to see shorts continue to cover. You're going to see that thing probably skyrocket all the way to probably, I'd say 20. Let's see where this goes, though. I think 20 is a big move. That's a double just from here. So we could possibly see a double all the way just from here. Nice chart. Really good breakout. Really good pick. Thanks for pulling that up to us. This is a good one. So everybody should like this one. This could be on my notes for one of the best ones today.
Whoa, hey now, we have a favorite. Actually, you know what? We should do that. We should start picking a favorite chart at the end of each of these shows. Let's go to the YouTube chat. There's a bunch of questions there. Let's get to these right now. Chris is asking about Merck. Is Merck finally turning? Chris K, MRK, small position. Where would you add to it? MRK.
Oh man, when you start hearing these names, like the rally's getting a little bit interesting because now we're starting to see us get into some of these healthcare names that nobody's brought up in years at this point. So Merck,
that's a heck of a downtrend.
Heck of a downtrend. Let's go monthly. Look at this long, because this thing's been around forever. So we could go very long term here, all the way back to the 70s if you really want to.
Okay.
But yeah, look at that big pullback here. I mean, looking at the end, we're in a massive pullback, but you do have a point. When we're seeing this thing kind of start to make higher highs, higher lows, we're probably getting close to a 52-week high. I'd assume that's going to be right there. At the moment, are we even at a 100-day high? Let's take a look. We might be nearing a 100-day high. That'd be interesting. So when you're doing that on Donchian channels on a weekly, you have to change it to 20 weeks, 100 days. So now we're looking at a 100-day high. We just hit it. We backed off a little bit, but that's a change in character. The last 100-day high is here. We saw a big rally off of that point. Another 100-day high happened here. Saw a nice rally after that. Another 100-day high. So you usually see good rallies off of 100-day highs. So I think that this could be a starting point if you're very interested. And personally, for me, I'm not very interested in the healthcare sector, but I know a lot of our guys on the team are. Me being the commodities guy, it's not a sector I'm currently trading much. But at the same time, like if you're looking at it just as a stock, something you want to buy, hitting a 100-day high, putting a stop below this level. So basically, if we're looking at that wick down here, we're looking at 83.36. So if we're looking at 83.36, that could be your stop level. You could buy it today, trying to targets anywhere near, it's probably going to see some resistance towards those old lows coming here. So, targeting 99, it's a good move, especially for a stock this big. Like you're not going to be looking for, 2X's or 5X's on a stock like this. But for a small move, maybe throw some options in there, targeting around $100. I think you can make a lot of money pretty quickly here. Good trade. All
right. Wow. Didn't expect you to say that, but
good trade for a short-term trade.
I guess that shows the environment that we are in. Okay. Flush is asking about AAOI. This is applied. What is it again? Applied Optoelectronics. Okay, this is a $2 billion. Is that? Am I right? $2 billion. Do I have that right? $2 billion. I do. $2 billion. I guess it's semis. I don't know what this is on. I guess it's a.
Technically, I have no idea.
It's electronic. It's electronic equipment. I don't know if it's semis per se, but it's electronic equipment.
Optoelectronics. Okay. But yeah, so I mean, another breakout. We're kind of looking at a bunch of these today. So let's go to a monthly. I like to always start with a monthly and go backwards from there. So looking at a monthly chart, I mean, there's a lot of resistance right there. However you're looking at it, you're going to run into this massive resistance zone here around 51 and also here around 44. So I think, buying it today, if you have a very short-term target and you're just trying to trade something to hit 44, you can. But if you're looking for something bigger, I would really wait for this thing to get above, let's say 50. The highest close, actually 46. Highest close on a monthly is 46. I like to use monthly closes. I'd say I'd go in about 46. I think that makes the most sense. More short-term though, same thing. We're just seeing that resistance level right here. I think you're just going to run into a wall really quickly. The safer trade, the easier trade really is going to wait till you get above 45, 46, enter it, and then target those old highs here that are at 105. So 105 old highs. I think that makes sense. I think you could do that trade. But once again, I'm not a big fan of this one. Not a big fan. Still Real's number one. Real is still number one for me.
Followed by Merck, apparently. What about CoreWeave? CRWV. This is the IPO from was it April or late March? It's done a really nice job holding on to the gains. It had a huge run right from like May to August, or no, May to like June. It was a quick one. It's done a very nice job holding on to that. Even though it's done nothing since the end of June.
Yeah, that thing looks like it's either going to break down very quickly or it's going to surprise everybody. And I think that's the two different ways you have to look at a trade like this. Like, you could drop like, a trend line and just go, okay, well, here we're above that level. Let's say we broke it. I hate sideways trend lines. I think they're not going to make you any money really. I think that once again, it becomes, where's the resistance level? The resistance level is right here at 149. I'm not really worried about this. This doesn't look like it has a ton of volume up here. Most of the time when you see these spike kind of tops and there's really not a bunch happening around it, I would say, hey, there's probably not a bunch of volume up there, not a bunch of sellers up there. I'm not too worried about it, but really getting above 149.91 or let's say 150 to make it safe. That's where you want to enter this thing. Putting a stop right below this zone. So above 150 and a stop below 127, I think would be the best way to play a trade like this. But this is going to be a very volatile stock. And why I bring that up is when we're looking at stocks and volatility, you have to understand each one. Something like Merck, very boring. I told you as we were talking about it, you're not going to make a double off of something like that. Something like this, you can make a double, but this is why your stop is going to be that wide. Your stop is going to be so wide that it's, you're looking at over 20% stop on something, or something like Merck, you might have like a 10 to 15% trailing stop on that. So I think this is a volatile stock. So for me, I'm not looking for a small move back to, let's say 150. I'm looking for a huge move here. So I would just wait till this breaks out of this zone, buy it, run a trailing stop, let this thing ride.
All right. I agree with, I'm not the expert here, but everything you said sounded good.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
It all made logical sense. What about for Alexander, FLR? This is an industrial play. It's got a gigantic gap from August. That was an earnings gap is what that was. And then it almost filled it, but didn't. And now here we are.
Wow. So how long has this one been around? Okay, this is industrial that's been around since 2000. Yeah. Wow. Sam brought up Monster the other day, and I had no idea Monster had been around for that long either.
Oh, you clearly haven't heard the stat about Monster being the best performing NASDAQ stock since the dot-com lows.
It's funny. I told Sam this the other week. I was sponsored by Monster around 2003, which is when it started to move. So I said that was probably me getting sponsored by Monster.
It probably was.
That's what made it move. Yep.
That's it. Yeah.
So you're welcome,
Monster up 254,000%. Anyway, back to FLR.
FLR. All right, let's do this. So FLR, we're looking at a monthly chart. It's all time. I mean, look, this thing has been in a massive base for a long time. Once again, I'm not the biggest fan of trend lines, but let's draw one just because. Why not? But off of that old high, we're kind of still in a zone where we're not really taking out those highs, but we're getting close. I think if you really get, another close up here, so let's zoom in now. If we get another close above those levels, let's see, where was that even at? Okay, we're over here. So if we get a close above that level here, which is the highest weekly close since looked like it was like 2016, 2008 even, $56. So above 56, I'd say, hey, buy this thing. It's probably going to move. Industrials are looking good. Yes, we've seen a little bit of chop in the sector lately. If you look at XLI, we're definitely seeing we're getting stuck in that range. Don't mind if I'm drawing outside the lines a little bit. I use line charts most of the time. But yeah, we're getting a little bit stuck in this range for XLI and industrials at the moment. So something like Fluor, If that breaks out of that, I'd say that could probably happen. And the same thing for that stock. So I think the whole sector looks good. I think it's something you want to buy. I think you could go overseas into Japan, different areas, and buy industrials right now. I think it's a great time to own industrials, but you really want to wait for that breakout. So wait for that breakout in XLI, start to buy, whatever stocks you're looking at in the sector. And I think this thing could take off. Is that how you say the name of that flower?
I don't know. Honestly.
I've never heard of it.
Or maybe Fluor. I don't know.
Fluor, yeah. Fluor. Yeah,
okay. Bub is asking more of a philosophical question. Well, maybe he didn't intend to, but that's how I take it. The question is, wait for a pullback on ARKG or just buy? Now, we can look at the chart, and we will. We'll pull the chart up right now. But this is really kind of a philosophical question, Jason. I'm assuming from that, the context I'm taking is that this is going to be a longer term position for bub to bub. Okay. So let's say you're eyeing a fund like this for the long term. Do you wait for the pullback? Do you just close your eyes and buy? And if so, what sort of risk measures do you take?
So if you're looking at, so once again, think about every trade, every single trade you watched take off and not look back, especially if you're long term. Short term, sure, wait for pullbacks, mean reversion can work fine. But if you're looking at anything, 3 months to a year like I trade, you really want to buy those breakouts and let those things run. Like that's important. And don't care, like you want something to happen here that might not happen, which is a pullback, waiting for a pullback to 31. Sure, you could do it. But this trade could just take off and never look back. There's plenty of those. Look at like all the things in the gold space. That's an easy way to look at it. Look at the semiconductors. Look at whatever it is where people are waiting for pullbacks. Most of the time, the pullbacks never happen. And it's more psychological. It makes us feel better. And this is where the philosophical part comes in. It makes us feel better to have something pull back. As a trader, everybody starts and they start to look for value in things that are low. Oh, it's down here, I want to buy it. Oh, it's very low, I want to buy it. And it's because that's our psychology. You go to the grocery store, you're not going to go, hey, I want bananas, but what are the most expensive ones? That's the ones I want. Nobody wants it. They want the quality they want in the best price they can, and that's about it. But as a trader, you have to learn to do the opposite thing, which is these huge breakouts that happen. So if a breakout happens, I just follow it. I do not care. I know what I want. I would like it to pull back. I would like it to give me the perfect entry and the perfect opportunity. Most of the time, things just don't. So how I trade something like this, I would go, okay, well, let's look at something like a 100-day high, 150-day high. Let's just say it's around this zone, which is true. I would say, okay, I'm gonna like way before this even would happen, I would put a buy stop here above 31. So I put a buy stop there. I would let that thing just hit the buy stop and then just run for me without having to think about, okay, is this a buy zone? Should I buy it here? Is it going to pull back? That way I can take my thinking out of it because I don't know what anything's going to do in the future. Yes, I have predictions. I use my models. I put the probabilities on my side, and that's how I've made money and outperformed the market for many years. But at the end of the day, I don't know exactly how a stock's going to get to my targets. It could pull back. It could just go straight up. It could never look back. So because of all those things, I think that's the way you do it. You just take the trade. I think this looks good to go as it is. I think you're getting a great discount, a great value for it if you really like this space already. I'd just buy it. I would just buy it. Not even think about it. If you're long term.
Yep. That sums it up right there. And I would say the same thing. If you really want it for the long term, just buy it. Because in 5 years or whatever your time horizon is, are you really gonna care what your entry was if it's long term enough, right? If you didn't get the best price, does it really matter? Like, do people who sell their homes in 30 years, do they still quibble about what they paid for it? You know what I mean? I don't know if they do.
No. And like, look at it. I mean, you got this, we're here around 34. You're basically, the breakout was around 30. Like, you're talking about a couple bucks. You're not going to care. So I think it's just buy the trade. Who knows where this thing could take off? Another way to look at that recently is XBI. We just saw this trade really take off recently. Same type of thing. You got the kind of a false breakdown signal slash a 100-day high here. So you could enter the trade. You could have waited for a pullback, but it just never pulled back. Now it's breaking out once again, and it's never pulling back. So you could look at it that way and just take the next trade. And that's what I think.
All right, another great question. This is from Yako. The ticker is ETN. He's asking what is, in my opinion, the hardest question to answer. And the question is, basically, I'm sitting on a shit ton of money. How do I get out of this thing? That's more or less the question. Actually, I'll read it directly. It's I'm looking for a long-term exit. I've been holding it for too long. So, not to brag, but I think most of us have probably been in this situation where we are up 100%, 200, whatever the number is, right? We're up a lot of money in a stock, and we don't know what to do. And it's a hard thing. And I struggle with this not all the time, but I struggle with this in bull markets because we're all making money in bull markets. You know what I mean? Things that I thought were maybe longer term things. All of a sudden I've doubled my money. What do I do?
That's a good point.
Yeah. So, okay. He's looking for a level to lean on to trim a winner.
So, couple answers. First answer. Always know where you're getting out before you get in. This is the hardest thing to understand as a trader, and one of the most important things is I have to know, like when I first started working for firms, I could not put on a trade without understanding what I'm doing with it, where my risk was going to be, and where I'm going to get out before I got into a trade. And that's something that I think you should always do. Most important thing, because you never know. And there's a couple answers here, which is, okay, well, we have this really nice trend. Maybe you've been holding it for a long time, but at the same time, now you're seeing consolidation. Where do I get out? The answer is, if you've been in it for a while, right now. If you're looking at it completely objective, there's a lot of resistance right here. It's kind of going sideways. You could get out of it right now if you want to. Nobody likes to do that. Everybody wants to go, well, it could go higher. Yeah, it could. And really, like, to me, I think it looks good. I think it's in a solid uptrend. My time frame, I wouldn't be selling this thing at all. I would let this thing run, and I would think more about, should I use a trailing stop on it? Should I, when am I going to trim this position? And maybe that number is more like 400. I start to trim the position. I cut it in half and so on. So I think that's going to be more of your answer. You could look at a primary target and go, okay, we're here. This thing moves, let's say in these almost looks like 60, 70% moves. You could be looking for another one out of this zone, and that would put us around, let's say, $500. So you could get out there. But once again, you really just want to understand that before you get in, because I can't over this. I can't really understand exactly your time frame, exactly how to trade it. And honestly, nobody can. That's going to be you. And also, feel free to, leave comments for us. Like tag me in a comment on Stock Market TV. I will try to come to it as soon as I can, and I will answer you, on the trade like we entered it today. That's the best I can do.
Great stuff. Let's just wrap it up. Let's do one more. Let's do PATH, PATH. This thing has had a volume explosion this month. This is by far a record volume month for the stock since it's been public, since it IPO'd in 21. So I don't really know why. I saw there was a bunch of insider activity on it, but I don't know what's behind the volume per se. Doesn't matter really. I just want to note that as Jason gives you a level.
Yeah, so they're looking at a level to trade this to or buy it?
Yeah, buy. I would assume buy.
I would buy it right now. Personally.
It's like the third time you said that today.
Yeah, I mean, there was the Real was a good one. That was a great one. Merck, not a big fan of Merck, but once again, you could take that trade if you really need to. Here, this thing looks just about buyable. I mean, I'd really wait for it to close again above, 1580, 1585, let's say. If it gets a close above that, I definitely buy this thing. I think it looks good. Me personally, I don't know enough about the stock to go buy it and put it in my own portfolio, but the setup looks good for something that possibly bottoming out. If you like the company, targeting those highs from 2024, which are around 2763. I think it's a good trade. I think it's a solid range trade. Not really my style, but you could do it.
All right. Jason, your favorite ticker today was real.
So real.
I'm gonna roll with the first one, cart, only because it's a, it's a sexy high growth, but it hasn't gotten grown for shit. So I'm sort of, if I had to pick one, I would say maybe there's a catch up there, but I don't really know. Just sort of throwing it out there.
I'm glad
Listen,
that was brought to our attention though, because it's
yeah.
something I use all the time. I'm always wondering how the company's doing, and I barely ever bring up this chart. So I'm glad somebody brought this up. So thank you.
Yep. Listen, guys, if you want to get Jason's actual research, his actual trade ideas, where he focuses on commodities and bonds and forex, that's what he does when he's just doesn't take time to do this show. Get the Gold Rush. The link is pinned to the top of the chat on YouTube. Jason's doing a video today, actually, for members of the Gold Rush, right? Every Monday.
Be there at 2.
And constant trade ideas, constant reports. If you didn't notice, gold's kind of at an all-time high. Jason's been pounding the table on this one for, I don't know, what, a year, 2 years?
2 years.
2 years he's been on this one. So
we're making some money. We're making a lot of money at the Gold Rush. So please join us. It's been a lot of fun this last couple of years. And just putting these trades on that just continue to make our members money makes me very happy, because our goal is just to make them money. We cover it all there, not just gold, as Spencer said, bonds, currencies, but we also cover all of the different sectors inside of the commodity stocks, all the way from water stocks, basically utility companies that produce water, all the way to uranium miners, lithium miners, industrials, like you name it, we're covering it. Just like we talked about on here today, we have an aluminum miner now. We cover it all. Energy, obviously. So we cover it all.
If you want to get in, again, it's allstarcharts.com/gold-rush. If you're confused, you want to talk to someone, just email us questions@stockmarketmedia.com. I will get you connected with the powers that be. Jason, thanks a lot. This is always fun. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit the like. I'd appreciate that. Thumbs up. And we'll see you next time. All right. Have a good one, guys.
See you guys soon.